While macro is definitely the best way to climb in League of Legends, it doesn't hurt to get a bit better at your own specific champion from time to time. That's why in this guide, we're going to be giving you one useful tip for every bot lane ADC in the game. Let's not waste any time and get into it. Kicking things off with Ezreal, there's two mechanics you need to know first. Many players are aware already that Ezreal's E will target a champion in a brush, even if you don't have vision of them. The second mechanic is based on the fact that when your E targets someone, Ezreal's model turns to face directly at them. Did you know that if you E within the radius of your E, that if you spam your next spell, it'll auto-aim at your opponent? For example, EQ, EW, and even ER. Great. Now you can combine these mechanics together for the following. If your target has gone into a brush and you have no way of getting vision, then you know you can confidently EWQ forward and even land an auto with the momentary vision you get. Good Caitlyn players know that they can E flash forward to set up an EQ headshot combo to finish players off. However, if you want to do the same combo and keep chasing, you can actually cancel your net self knockback by pressing E, waiting a fraction of a second, and then flashing forward. We highly recommend practicing this timing in practice tool before attempting to pull it off in ranked. And as a quick reminder, the best tip for any ADC is, of course, to join the best platform out there if you're serious about improving, Skillcapped. We literally guarantee a 5+ division increase when actively using our service, or you get your money back. So why not try us out right after this? The biggest highlight of any Draven game is getting an ult snipe across the map with your ult, especially when you time it just right and get both parts of the return damage. Did you know you can actually time the return by looking at the minimap instead of your actual screen? When your ult's indicator touches the enemy champion's portrait, hit R again and it'll snap back at just the right moment to get double damage. This is particularly useful during the lane phase. If you want to go for a snipe, this way you don't have to look away from the lane to do so. Just keep laning and press R if you see your ult connect on the minimap. On Twitch, you should time your stealth on blast cones to avoid wards. What you want to do is press Q, wait until right before you're about to go into stealth, and then pop the blast cone. This way you're already in stealth as you're flying in, and you can avoid the wards that may be in these river brushes. Be careful about queuing and attacking instantly after. You won't be in stealth yet, so a ward will spot you for a second if there's one in the brush. On Tristana, if you're in a really sticky situation, here's how you can get a backwards double jump. Press E and auto your target 3 times. Then, as you W away, knock your target back with your ult, which will detonate your E, giving you a W reset. Usually one jump and ult is good enough to get away from one player, but this tip is especially important when you're being collapsed on from multiple angles. Miss Fortune's W passive is one of the strongest ones in the game. Any good player knows how overpowered a permanent movement speed buff is. Unfortunately, it drops to any amount of damage, making it hard to keep up. You should know that damage absorbed by shields doesn't make her W fall off. This means that playing with shield enchanters or buying Bloodthirster has a ton of value on MF script builds, which tend to max W early. Jinx's ult getting stronger as it travels may lead you to believe that it doesn't need to cross a lot of distance to get max damage. That couldn't be farther from the truth. If you bring up your W's indicator, the max range is actually all your ultimate needs to travel to get the damage cap on it. So if you ever want to finish someone off, wait until they're about to leave this range and blast them. Do you feel like high elo Xayah players are able to burst way faster than you are when they go in? Well, you're probably not input buffering your W. Why your burst is so slow is that you ult in and only then begin casting your W, which takes up a ton of time. Good Xayah players know that you can actually cast your W during your ult's animation, so as you're ulting in, line up your skill shot based on where you're landing and cast your W mid-air to instant cast as you land. Jhin's reload timer can actually be reset by casting abilities, so if your 4th shot is about to reload, then just press your E or W and you can keep the 4th shot up for 10 more seconds. This is particularly more useful for late game scenarios to keep up specifically 2 shots left. Auto, Q, 4th shot is usually enough to one-shot a squishy late game, So knowing this trick is super handy for that. There's nothing like landing a crossmap arrow on Ashe to set up a kill for your team. However, the risk of wasting your ult can often outweigh the reward of landing one across the map. Here's a good rule to follow for when to look for those cross-map plays. Think about the angle that you're shooting from and the corridors on the map. For example, if you're in bot, shooting into a fight going on in these corridors has a high likelihood of landing, since the fight is unlikely to move very much from your ult's trajectory, compared to shooting at something like a lane, for example, where the action can move wildly side to side. Likewise, if you're in base, shooting at lanes now becomes a lot better of an option, since the lane is narrow vertically, meaning you're much more likely to land your ult. Isn't it annoying that in every Lucian montage you watch, the champion seems super fluid and pumps out damage instantly, but your own Lucian is slow and clunky? Here's why. You're probably not short dashing in your combos. Lucian's E is regularly this long, but you need to get in the habit of putting your mouse right beside your character when dashing. This performs a short dash. That's why pro player combos tend to come out much faster and smoother than yours do. Vayne's Q has a similar mechanic when she's next to walls. Instead of completing the full tumble, she just stops at the wall, allowing her to continue DPSing much faster. During the early game, experience is significantly more important than the gold minions provide. On Varus, you can actually use your Q's max range indicator to estimate the max range at which you can stand to get experience from minions. They have to be slightly inside the radius for you to get experience, and this tip is especially helpful whenever you may have a bad support or matchup to help you cheat out a bit more experience. Kog'Maw is too simple of a champion to have some sort of hidden gameplay tip. Usually what Kog'Maw mains have up their sleeve is some sort of secret build that makes him OP. Right now, the dark tech for Kog happens to be Ludens into Muramana into Rylai's for a hybrid, mostly AP build. This build has all the power of AP Kog'Maw while also fixing a bit of the weakness it usually has of low DPS output. With Muramana, you can still do decent consistent damage as well as long range poke burst. It really is the hidden OP build on Kog'Maw at the moment. Sivir is the 40 min down FF we win late game ADC, so this following tip is definitely going to help in some of your games. You should know that Sivir's ultimate not only affects your teammates, but your minion waves as well. At level 11 and 16, this is a significant speed boost that can help you get waves into towers much faster, so that you can potentially win the game in hectic late game situations. Most players are aware by now that Xayah can flash after pressing E to redirect her feathers to get a root off on her target. That being said, if you time your flash well, you can root multiple players at the same time, even at awkward angles. Imagine a common scenario, where Xayah is versus two champions in front of her. She wants to kill them, but it's hard to get E damage on both of them at this angle. What you can do is E to hit one of them, and then time your flash, so that as your feathers pass through the first target, you then redirect them to go through your second target as well. It's a bit tricky to pull off, so definitely work on getting the timing down in the practice tool first. When playing Kalista, you should often try to take fights, especially versus melee champions, around these four walls. It's very easy to hop back and forth between the terrain, making you impossible to catch up to. Zeri's Q max range can actually be extended. If you find that you're just outside of your Q's range to hit someone, try aiming it at the side of your opponent. This can cause some of the pellets to it. Samira is all about close range AoE burst. Sadly though, a mechanic she can't pull off is melee Q flash. If she Q flashes from range, it'll cast as the range version, hitting only one target. However, if there's a target beside you, you can Q it, and then flash to your intended targets. Again, this is very useful when you're looking to all in and you want to kill multiple people quickly. Aphelios is all about having the correct gun combinations. There's a lot of nuance that can go into this, but a simple gun order that a lot of ELO players advocate for is to go from this original sequence to this one. To do so, first you get rid of red to get green-purple. Then you get rid of green for purple-blue. Now use purple for blue-white. Now get rid of blue for white-red. Keep saving white, and use up red to get green-white. Now you finish off white and you have green-purple with the following gun order: green, purple, blue, red, white. The point of this order is so that you always have some of your most potent gun combos in a natural sequence now. Now you just cycle green first, then purple, then blue, then red, then white, and so on. Keep up this order, and you'll always have a decent gun pairing for the rest of the game. Alright guys, remember to check out Skillcapped if you're serious about improving, because we have the best and the most guides out there, and they've never been easier to find thanks to our new browse page we recently launched. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.